Welcome back, Goat fans, to another episode of the greatest of all time podcast show, Goat Radio. I'm the big man, and I have a wicked lineup with me, and we are back in the goatrage, guys. Salerno is back with us. Came back from his nice trip in Italy.
Yep. Glad to be back. Not really, but glad to be here, but not back kind of thing.
And Nucci's with us.
Yeah, we're back here. Surprised Salerno didn't stick around for the Ryder Cup action.
Don't rub it in. I just thought of that today.
You were only mere hours away.
Jeez. What a fool. Buffoon I am.
Guys, we're having a little bit of an emergency pod here because there's a couple storylines we need to talk about.
Okay.
But first things first, let's say what we're wearing, okay?
Well, yeah, I got the skate Canucks. I haven't worn this since I was a little kid, maybe, but threw it on today.
We love it. We wear it often on the pod.
Yeah, one of our topics today is surrounded with the Vancouver Canucks, and I got one of the players whose jerseys is hanging in the rafter, one of the twins, Sedin's.
Mm-hmm.
I love him. I love that guy. I love the Twins. I'm wearing the matching green, brother. And you know who this is? Lou.
Yeah. Well, okay.
And he is, in honor of him, okay, it's our first WTF topic.
Okay, yeah.
Okay? For me, it's a head scratcher.
Yeah.
The Vancouver Canucks, all right, they announced yesterday that they're going to induct Roberto Luongo into the Ring of Honor.
Okay.
And guys, this is not a negative. He's being honored as a legendary Canuck, right?
Okay.
But at the same time, it's a slap in the face of Bobby Lou. Do you guys know why? Because it should be alongside his fellow teammates, the Sedins, up in the rafters.
I agree.
Do you guys agree with
100%.
me or not?
100%. There is no goalie up there because this franchise never had a goalie of that magnitude that was worthy of having their jersey retired. I mean, this team's not a franchise that's been around for 15, 20 years. Like, it's been around for 50 years plus. And this was the first goalie that I think, he took us to the Stanley Cup final and that. Like, we've had two other goalies that have done that in the past, but they didn't put up the numbers, set all the records that Roberto did here, and he was a world-class goalie. Our other goalies that brought us to Stanley Cup finals were not Team Canada, Olympic gold medalist goalies, things like that. Like, he was a world-class goalie.
He won the gold medal. In the
That's
Olympics
what I mean.
Here. Yeah. Like
the other two, like McLean and Brodeur, were not Team Canada goalies.
Nothing against Kirk McLean. I love the guy, but
he just got hot for a 94 run, and he was a
which was
dependable
great.
goalie, but not at the
fun time.
Not at the level of Roberto Luongo.
Okay, can you tell me this? What the hell are the owners thinking on this one?
Big man, you say this is a head scratcher. For me, this is just par for the course with the franchise.
Yeah.
This is just gone on, and there's obviously maybe something else. The way I look at it is his jersey in Florida is already retired, is it not?
Yeah. 2020.
Like right away. He actually left. He sacrificed, moved his family here. Maybe he didn't have to come. I don't know how it was or how it is today in sports where people refuse to go and whatnot. And he came here. He gave the larger part of his prime years of his career to the city of Vancouver and the organization.
Is ownership sour on him?
Possibly.
Because, he left.
Well, I mean,
he left and it kind of...
He left.
Long term, it kind of screwed the Canucks.
They made a goalie controversy out of nothing, and I was at the Winter Classic, I believe, at BC Place, where they sat him. He didn't play in that game.
Yeah, Eddie Lack started.
Where's Eddie Lack now? What's like what? This just it's just tough sometimes being a fan for this organization.
Okay, guys, I'm actually kind of. Listen, like I said, this is not a negative. He's being honored here.
Yeah, it's an honor.
However,
whatever.
Wow,
it's a participation ribbon he's getting.
Guys, the Ring of Honor members. Can I read them out?
Yes, I want to know.
Orland Kurtenbach. Okay. Kirk McLean.
Yep.
You got Thomas Gradine, Harold Sneps, Pat Quinn, Matthias Oland, Alex Burrows. Legends, pioneers for Canucks franchise for sure. He is not in that company. He is on another level when I read that. Are you guys kidding me? When
He's
I
a
read
Hall
that,
of Famer.
Yeah.
okay, when I read that list, that's more like unsung heroes kind of thing. Burrows,
Glue guys.
You
Like-
can
like-
even make a case Alex Edler can be in there.
Yes, 100%.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This has to go deeper. Management made a call. Is McLean have anything to do with this? Him
No.
being a number one jersey
No.
also?
No.
He's big. He's a big part of the Canucks off the ice with the campaigns and all that. Is that involved? I don't know.
I don't know.
Something
Like,
is happening with this one. Can I read some of his legendary stats?
can you just mention the jerseys that are retired?
Yeah,
that are in the rafters?
I have that list here. You want me to do it right now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Stan Smeel,
Mm-hmm.
Trevor Linden,
Okay.
Marcus Naslund,
Hall of Famer.
Pavel Bure,
Hall of Famer.
Daniel and Henrik Sedin.
Hall of Famers.
How don't you? Okay, if you got someone like, I love Naslund, by the way, great captain. Luongo's gotta be there when I hear his name.
100%.
Are you guys kidding me? It has to be done. Okay, guys, he's one of the most accomplished goalies. No cup, I get it. No cup, one game away, and that's gonna sting him. Let me read out some stuff from him. 19 seasons, okay,
Mm-hmm.
over 1,000 games, 489 wins. That's fourth all time.
Mm-hmm.
And you know who's in front of him? Brodeur, Roy, Marc-Andre Fleury.
Wow.
And he's fourth.
Wow.
Okay? Like I said, one game away from the cup. He's the Vezina finalist 3 times. He didn't win it, but you know what? When you get to the finalists, then it just becomes all chatter and politics and
It's
stuff.
very hard to win awards on the West Coast.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's still a top goalie in the league for a handful of years. These next reasons, you cannot deny him his retirement. These next 3 reasons right here. First goalie captain since Bill Durham did it in the 50s. That's huge. You know what that meant? He meant a lot on the ice for the Canucks, in the dressing room, and, for the city to be named Cheds. Okay?
Yeah, that's how big time of a player and superstar he was, that this franchise made a goalie the captain.
100%.
And now he's not that
Yeah.
big of a...
Yeah, they were willing to step out on a limb then, right?
Yeah,
Nucci?
they're going to make a goalie a captain, but they're not going to put the same guy that they saw so highly,
Yeah.
thought so highly of then, not
Great point.
be worthy of
Great point.
putting their jersey up.
Another main point. Hall of Famer. And not only Hall of Famer, guys. First ballot Hall of Famer.
Wow.
First year eligibility. That's
an elite class.
That's an elite. That's rare.
100%.
You're at the top of the pyramid for players in NHL history.
And-
First ballot. It's a difference.
And is he that if he never had his years that he had here in Vancouver? Like, if he stayed in Florida the whole time, you think he's a first ballot? Probably not. Like, he doesn't have the accolades, probably. He'll set all the Florida records, but...
And you can say he's sour, like the organized. Florida could have been sour at him too.
Yeah.
Like his jersey's up there. Maybe he doesn't care. I don't know. Like he's already got it. That's his hometown. His wife's from there. Like,
okay, guys, and the last one here tops it off. You probably know what I'm going to say.
no.
Gold medal starting goaltender for the greatest team assembled in the history of hockey. He took the reins from Marty Brodeur, past prime Marty for sure, but he took the starting from him.
Mid-tournament.
He won the gold on Canadian soil, and not only in Canadian soil, on Canuck soil.
Yeah.
Listen, that's never going to happen again. And now you're going to honor him in the Ring of Honor. Guys,
It's embarrassing.
it's embarrassing. And you know what? If the team's not winning, you got to do something great for the city and honor that guy by putting his jersey up there. Like, let's get some excitement in other ways, because especially the team's not winning.
Usually I see both sides of stories. I feel like I can kind of look at both sides on topics we've talked about before, but I really don't see the other side of it other than just bitterness.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyone that doesn't think he should be up in the rafters is bitter about him retiring and then the Canucks being left with his cap hit for a few years. Things like that. Like, he didn't we still traded him. He didn't choose to go sign somewhere else or anything like that. Like, yeah.
Florida actually offered the Canucks a trade to trade him back so that they wouldn't get the cap hit. They said no.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, well. I didn't know that one.
Yeah.
Guys, it's simple. He's the best goalie in Canucks history.
Yeah, and there's no other goalie that's
by
up
far.
there.
And you know what? I get these old schoolers saying Kirk's there. Listen, I think Kirk, if he had some honesty, he's going to say the same damn thing.
100% he would.
I don't think he'll be mad if they change their mind and put him in the rafters. How can he?
Does the powers that be actually think that they're a better organization than Florida? Like, what? Why? You got to think this guy's jersey's retired there, or
Is that has something to do with it? Maybe
I don't know. Like, but are you thinking like
Teams have, or players have jerseys retired in multiple.
No, I know, but are they saying, well, you know what? Like, do they think they're better than Florida? They were just in the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah. And you know what? We put out a post on our socials. A lot of engagement. It's one of the reasons why we came together.
Okay.
But I got some good posts from people, and it's on both aisles for this one. You got 710 Carno saying they should 1,000% have his jersey retired. Shame on the Canucks in regular fashion.
Mm-hmm.
So what he says. And then we got Vince D. He's saying he should be in the Ring of Honor, not the rafters. He played lots of games but choked in the playoffs a lot. Also made a decision that will cost us long term, and he didn't care at all. And then one more, it goes Mike C. He's saying he is a Hall of Fame member. That should be all that is needed for a franchise with no cups.
100%.
With no cups.
That's a great point.
That's
a great point.
Isn't that a good point?
Very good.
Guys, listen, management, 85% of GOAT fans from our poll say retire his jersey. Go Radio's taking over Van City, so they should listen to us. They got 3-4 months to make a call, change that decision, put the number 1, Luongo, up in the rafters so we can all go Lou when it's going up.
When's this ceremony happening? When is this taking
December
place?
14th against the team that retired his jersey, Florida.
Jeez. Yeah, great. That's lovely.
Anyways, should be a good event. Go Radio will be there.
Perfect.
Any further thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, like Rob said, or Salerno said, it's par for the course. It seems like, I mean, this won't, if they do the switcheroo and decide to put it up there, it won't be a shock. I don't think. I think they've done that a few times with some of their decisions, because once they come out and people see it, it's yeah, I don't know. It's too bad. He put in some unbelievable years in his prime. The numbers speak for themselves. His accolades speak for themselves, and he was 60 minutes away from bringing a cup here and being the freaking mayor of Vancouver for his whole life.
Exactly.
So,
and he's just he seems like an interesting, wicked guy too.
Yeah, good sense of humor on his social media.
We love him. All right, guys. Next WTF topic we got.
Okay.
It's about Mike Babcock. Just make insane headlines the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
So he resigned as the head coach before the first game for Columbus after allegations surfaced that he had been asking to see player phones and pictures while getting to know them, which resulted in players feeling a little bit uncomfortable.
Were they, though? I was away for this, so I really didn't get the full story, so you got to fill me in a little bit here.
Nucci, what were the main allegations from the, I believe it was the captain of Columbus?
Well,
not from him, but from the beauty, Paul Bissonnette, yapping away. What did Paul Bissonnette said Babcock did?
He had gotten messages from players on Columbus, or that new players on Columbus, that apparently this is how it started off, was that he was asking guys to pull out their phone in one-on-one meetings to put up their pictures up on the airplay it onto the TV screen
Come on.
in the office
on the whiteboard.
No, on like the TV screen. So like you airplay your photos, and then he would be like, it was to show me your family, show me pictures of your kids, your family, like to get to know them. That was the whole thing about it.
Okay.
Originally. Then I think the one that came up once NHLPA started investigating was he had invited one of the Columbus players to his home for lunch and asked to go through, like, to see his phone and everything. Went through the guy's phone and then just said, okay, see you later, and like didn't even like give him lunch or anything.
What?
Just did that. So that was like the big one because it was off premises
property.
Yeah, and he was doing that
Bizarre.
outside of that.
That's a bizarre move.
I'm not backing up Babcock. However, a lot of this is insane hearsay. I need to hear the sources of the victims here, because it's all a lot of yapping. And right now, hey, listen, we know Babcock's did some really prick moves in the NHL over his years. We have a few listed that we can share. But I want to hear from the actual source. And it's something we haven't heard. And like, listen, Paul Bissonnette and Mike Commodore are the real ones that are
driving this.
They hate this guy.
Yeah.
They hate him. And it's becoming, like I said, I'm not backing up Babcock. It's becoming an insane smear job on all old school coaches.
Yeah.
Because of the way society is now.
Gwenville.
It's an insane shift in sensitive movement. It is. I'm not back. Like I said, he's done some bad shit. But for this situation.
Who's the captain there, big man?
Boone Jenner.
Boone Jenner. So is this kind of one of the guys that started it? Like I was away, but I read somewhere that Goudreau said his experience was fine. Guys like that.
Exactly my point. Everyone that's come on live air has said he's a great guy. I didn't feel uncomfortable.
So maybe the young guys, like a Fantilli, these new players coming in.
That's what it was.
Oh,
it was the younger guys.
Okay.
Even the GM.
And they were part of the investigation, so their stories have been heard.
Millennials.
They're not going to come out. Because usually victims, whether it's some of the other allegations, Hockey Canada stuff, you don't hear that person come out and say, this is what happened. It either goes to authorities or whoever's investigating the thing. So I don't think we'll ever hear from the players that felt uncomfortable about it, because it's easier to come out and say, oh, I didn't have nothing really bad happened with me, than, yeah, he came out and did this and this and this, then.
But we need to, because then he looks like the devil. And I know there's a lot of players in NHL, former players, that hate this guy's guts. I just don't know if it's happened or not. And I'll tell you.
But where there's smoke, there's fire. I mean, it's not the first.
I'm not.
He lost his job over something like this.
You can't make why do you need to go through someone's phone? It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Come on, man. I've never asked one of you can I look through your phone?
Imagine your boss asking, hey, impromptu, just saying, hey, can you come in my office? Let me see your phone.
Go pound sand.
It is weird as hell if that took place. However, we need some context.
He wouldn't have resigned though if he.
Yeah, if you want to get to know my family, you invite them over for dinner.
At the end of the day, he resigned because it was an insane distraction.
Well, it's kind of weird.
It took away from going to the rink, and it was. I know. I'm not backing him up.
I'm basically saying
it's a lot of. Listen, there's so much yapping, and from the source, this originally came from Boone Jenner from Biz Nasty, right? Mm-hmm. They said Boone Jenner. He called him in his office, and he asked from.
Yeah, because he probably started with the captain.
Okay,
probably, right?
All right. So do you know what Boone Jenner said? I need to read it to you, and no one seems to hear this.
Let's hear it.
He comes out. He's the source.
Okay.
I need to make my point here. He says, while meeting with Babs, he asked me about my family, where I'm from, my upcoming wedding, and hockey-related stuff. He then asked if I had pictures of my family, and I was happy to share some with him. He showed me pictures of his family. I thought it was a great first meeting and a good way for us to start to build a relationship. To have this blown out of proportion is truly disappointing. That's from the captain of this Columbus team. Listen, I feel at this listen, he's never going to coach again.
No, he's done.
It's an insane, and honestly, that might be weird too, just to have anything to do with the pictures?
That one's not that weird. If he was like, yeah, I'll show you some pictures, no problem. But he was the first one, and that was who the Spin Chicklets guys mentioned was the first one. Then with more digging is where the other ones came about. And maybe a guy that's married and has kids doesn't really have much to hide or doesn't have anything on his phone that he wouldn't really care for other people to see. But young guys that are doing whatever they're doing probably don't want their boss seeing.
Well, you don't have to show them that, right?
Yeah, but then if you say no to your boss,
well, you can say here's a
like?
picture here. I'm not going to let you scroll through my reel, like my team chat.
Can you just see how can you just see it can get blown out of
for
proportion?
sure.
And like I'm looking at the guys that actually that have came out and said I had a good experience with him, and even the GM is like we had to get him to resign but my meeting with him was good too, and we showed each other pictures. I'm just saying, Gaudreau said good things about him.
Yeah.
Mitch Marner even said good things about him.
If it was uncomfortable and Boone Jenner was the captain, he should say, hey, this isn't cool to go through. Like, you're the captain.
Yeah.
No active player that I can think of very recently in any of these investigations has ever come out and said, like, none of the Blackhawks guys really said they saw anything or anything was going on, whatever. With this one, none of the guys that have had the bad experiences said anything. It's only guys that once they're done playing,
yes,
that are more, or they're sour, or they're more open to divulge information or talk about stuff because there's nothing that'll hold them back in their career anymore. They're done playing. Where these young guys, if they come out and say stuff, even though now where it's so open and like come out and say whatever you want, which is great in some things, they're still not even doing it because it could affect their career.
Yeah,
they'll be seen as someone that is going to ruffle feathers or
for sure
and things like that. So the guys that have the negative stuff never comes out right away.
Listen, I just say I'm not backing Babs. He's done some gnarly stuff from
That's
the
what
list.
I mean. Where there's smoke, there's fire, man. Like some people don't change.
And
I mean, I'm not asking people to show me pictures on their phone.
Yeah,
like
I'm just saying the old school grizzled nutty coaches are just fizzling out now. You can't be nuts anymore.
You can't be nuts, and rightfully so. Like, why do we need 67-year-old coaches? Not knocking that at all. They have lots of knowledge, experience, and everything. There's so many good coaches coming up, and it's the same guys that keep getting the jobs over and over again.
Yeah.
And like Babs, won a cup and stuff.
He should have been more cautious. What's come out in the past, you should be thinking.
He's been out of the game. He should have been knowing what's going on. He was working with a university team, like younger kids. Like,
one more point I'm going to make here about the smear job I'm talking about. Now I'm hearing that he's actually a bad coach, and that is just total false. It's just false. People saying he was actually a bad coach. Stanley Cup winning coach.
Okay, with who?
Detroit.
That team was stacked.
I'm just saying.
You could have coached that team, big man.
Listen, I'm just saying. You don't just put a head coach of the greatest team assembled, like I mentioned, the Team Canada. You don't just pick a guy for no reason. This guy, let's just not. We can't say he's the worst coach all of a sudden.
No, I'm not saying that.
A lot of people
I'm not
are.
saying that.
Just as like, he did some good things in Anaheim, like you said.
That's probably his impressive thing that he has done in his career. I think
10 years ago, everyone's saying he's the best coach.
Yeah.
You know
what he did in Anaheim got him hired in Detroit.
Yeah.
And then he gets an unbelievable team.
An Olympic.
And then every Canada team he's coached has been insane. I guess you don't just put whoever Joe Schmo.
He did say something like,
teams.
I don't remember what D-man he left off. He left a D-man off.
I got a list of some prick. He's a prick.
He is a prick. I can't remember which D-man it was, but I think it was. He said the player was a right-handed D shot, and then he cut him from the team, and I was shocked. This is just you got a list, big man?
Let me go over the
screw jobs.
The screw jobs he's done.
Give me some of the screw.
Okay. Let's start with number 6 here, Siding Chelios, the Winter Classic.
Yeah, that's a big one.
He did.
Yes, he did.
At the end of his career.
Oh, I know another one.
I don't think that's a big
I know
deal.
another one.
Okay, let me read them. He humiliated Mitch Marner as being the least hardest worker.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Well, fuck. Get to work.
How about Spezza? You got Spezza on there?
Spezza.
Oh, man.
He sat him. I think it was the debut, and it was against his
Former team.
squad. Okay?
Yeah. At home in front of his home family and stuff.
For sure. This one is brutal. Madano,
This is nutty. $14.99.
$14.99. He didn't let him get to 1,500.
Sat him.
And he told Mike Madano, we didn't bring you in to get 1,500 games. We brought you in to win the cup. Okay, he looked through players' phones. That's a huge thing. And this is gnarly. The psychological verbal abuse of Johan the Mule Franzen that everyone talks about. That just tortured this guy. Not cool. And it's well known. Prick for sure. But it's just all I'm saying is the old school coaches are done. They're done in NHL.
Well, the pricks are.
Yeah. And it's just everywhere old school. Like my former coach, Michigan Tech, we went to Michigan. He's canned for suspect reasons. I think I want to have a pod with my teammates on that. My former teammates. WHL coach Constantine.
Yeah.
He's
getting reprimanded.
He's getting something going on. The list goes on now, and it's the big shift in the world. And I'm not saying I'm with it or against it. I'm just saying you got to watch it.
Yeah, you have to adapt.
You got to adapt.
But anyone can just say anything now too, right? Like, I don't know. Can you just say, hey?
If Babcock had never done a thing in his life,
yes, then that's a different
story. And this came up, I'd be like, be a little more weary. But like, he's out of the game for however long, the track record he's had, and then all of a sudden, can't even make it to the first game of the year because he's already pulled something like that. Imagine what he would have done going into it with that team.
For both of those WTF questions on Luongo and Babcock, please, Goat fans, engage with us. Tell us what you got to say. We're going global. And Aquilini's in leadership at the Canucks. Listen to us.
Yeah,
Get something done in the next couple months, okay?
Any figure
final
it out.
Thoughts, guys? Are we good?
We're good on these topics.
Good.
We got a big weekend in sports coming up.
Massive, and we can't wait to get back in the garage.
Ryder Cup golf.
Yeah. NHL starting.
Canelo's fighting Saturday night.
We got boxing. We got NHL. We got combat sports. It's all coming on the greatest of all time podcast show.
Beautiful.
Goat Radio. We will see you next time for more Goat history. We'll see you later.